Hello, I'm Jen with The Bold Thing. Welcome to another episode 4 of this IGTV series called Coaching Misunderstood. What coaching is, what coaching isn't. If you would like a little more context on the what for behind the series, just hop on over to that IGTV tab and there's an intro video getting into all of that for you. So today is going to be focusing on a what, excuse me. Today is going to be focusing on a what is. And what we're going to cover today is coaching is a mirror. So we're going to briefly get into what that means and why that matters. So we're all people who have used mirrors before. So it's a pretty easy analogy to get. What we know about mirrors is they offer us reflections. They offer us reflections, and some of the stuff they reflect back is stuff we already know and see. Some of the stuff they reflect back is stuff that we're like, whoa, didn't know that was going on. And some of the stuff that is reflected back isn't actually true. And that's where it gets tricky when we're using a mirror on our own, right? You know, we might get the reflection back like, oh, I don't look good, but we actually look really great, and that's just our stuff. So if we start to imagine how that works in the structure of coaching, just imagine how you use a mirror in your daily life. And the cool thing is, it's going to be different for every single person who asks themselves that question. And the same is true for coaching. People use it for all sorts of different things. And so, let's just look at what many of us use a mirror for. We kind of have a sense of what our hair is doing, but when we look in the mirror, we can really tell. There's no way I don't wear a lot of makeup, but there's no way I could do mascara without a mirror. I can't put my contacts in after all these years without a mirror. So there's certain things that we need that mirror for to reflect, so we know. And coaching is the same way. Even the most self-aware human needs objective reflections from external parties. That is actually part of becoming self-aware. So just like in the world, the mirror is going to reflect the things that you can't see. Coaching is going to also reflect the things that you can't see. And, I think another thing to say about that's important is this is why we need to be looking at how is the coach trained. Sometimes a reflection needs to be kind of out of left field to lovingly, boop, hit the person's nervous system so they're like, whoa, okay, I get that. I'm bankrupting it. There's an impact. Let's do something different. But as I'm sure you can imagine, if coaches aren't trained in trauma, what if they go to do that and they re-trigger trauma? Ooh, if you've had a lot of trauma, you need to know how your coach is trained. Also, sometimes you need to ask the client, hey, I kind of want to get in here and make a reflection, and it might be jolting, it might be jarring, it may be a big be with. Is that something you're in the space to receive today? So there's all that stuff going on when the coach is making the reflection. Part of the power of it is knowing when is the aligned time. How bold are you with the reflection? And as I'm sure you're imagining by listening to this, that's where trust comes in. So if you have this human in your space making reflections at you, so you can see it and then say, okay, wow, now I can take ownership of this thing. I know it's there. When you take ownership of it, you can shift it. And that's all stuff you're doing with your coach. So as I'm sure you can imagine, if you're not in a trusting relationship, it doesn't work. So you need to trust your coach. Your coach needs to trust you. And also, a lot of the stuff that's getting reflected is those stories that come up, those ways we've learned how to protect ourselves, those patterns, whatever you want to call them. And if coach is not doing their own work on their own stuff, sometimes they can get in yours with you and their reflections aren't clear. They're not elevated. They're not helpful. They're righteous. So, we really want to be careful of how is this coach trained? Are they the right one for you to be on this journey with you, reflecting these things? If not, who is? And and as I'm sure you've gotten to see by now, why it matters is if you're committed to more self-awareness, you need that third party. And if we really look at it through the lens of leaders, which is who I love to coach, I coach people who are brave, who are daring. A lot of them have done work. They are doing work. They won't stop. It's people that just know when they are held, they can really keep in check how are they showing up. I've had a lot of support on how I show up as a leader over the years, and I continue to get that reflection, because when the world is moving fast and there's a lot to do, it's more challenging to stay aware. And sometimes you don't realize that you're showing up really righteously or whatnot, so you need to check yourself. So coaching is a mirror, and these are all the reasons why it's important. As always, we could go on in any of these conversations, but this is just a digestible chunk for you to start contemplating, to chew on. If you've been contemplating coaching, if anyone you know has been contemplating coaching, as always, these are the lenses I look through based on the trainings I have had as a psychologist, as a therapist, as a counselor, as a yogi, as a coach, as a leader. And it doesn't mean I'm right. It's just the way that I see it and speak it through. So I'm here if there's any questions or comments, and this video will be saved under IGTV as well as my YouTube channel. It was wonderful to be here with you in whatever moment you're catching this. And please, please, please do yourself a favor and make sure you're supported. 2020 is the inviter of more support for all, particularly those of us who do hold ourselves as leaders. We go further together. Lots of love, everyone.